Welcome back, guys. This is Certified Bad Example. My name is August Black, and I'm here with my co-host.
Jamil. I am the other co-host of Certified Bad Example. Welcome back, everybody. At the time of recording this, it is June, which means it is Pride Month. It is
Happy
also
Pride.
Father's Day month. It
Mm.
is, it's a double whammy. I was thinking about this the other day, and it's like how appropriate for queer dads and dads in general to have their month tagged along with Pride.
I'm August Black, and this is Certified Bad Example, where we take real parenting moments that make you pause and ask, who approved this?
And I'm Jamil Mayers. We're not here to teach, we're here to talk about it. Different opinions, real perspectives, and what we do instead, preferably before somebody ends up grounded crying or in a group chat getting roasted.
Because every situation is a choice.
And some of y'all are choosing chaos.
This is Certified Bad Example. Follow, share, and hold on tight.
Because Pride means so many different things. Obviously, there is a huge accent on the queer community having Pride this month. But all over Instagram, I'm seeing all the party, the excitements. If you're watching this and Pride Month has already expired, I still want to know what you guys did for Pride. If it was something different, something unusual. Did you do it with family? Do you have kids and you did Pride with? Did you go to the parade? First of all, controversial. Is the parade appropriate for kids?
I think it depends on where you are. Because the Providence Parade in Rhode Island is pretty tame. There are moments, but it's on the more tame side. I think I've been to the LA Pride Parade, and I probably would not bring Bo to that.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Because we live in Arizona, and the parade. I've been to the parade once. I enjoyed the parade. It was good seeing the people out there, nice bodies and people doing things, and then companies representing, and so there's a good mix of joy, celebration, hype, music, party, people dancing, colors, feathers and angels, and great. I think a kid that is probably, I don't know, maybe younger than 10, probably half of that would have to be explained. Like, this is why this looks like this. But then when you have, the toys and stuff like that are out there in your face that are part of the culture as a way to say, we're in your face, right? We're gay, we're queer, we're here, we're not like, I get it. Unless you're prepared to answer those questions with your kids, you probably shouldn't take them. Now,
Yeah.
should you shelter them from that? I don't think so. If you're prepared to have those conversations with your kids, take them. There are ways to explain these things that absolutely make sense. If you have teenagers and, newly minted teenagers like mine, they already know what these things are.
Yeah. They grow up quick.
So yeah, all you need to do is make sure that you're explaining it correctly so that their understanding of it is not their current, because I'm sure they've botched the understanding of it. So, I mean, that's where parenting comes into play. Do your due diligence. Nonetheless, I don't want to put a damper on it. Pride is fantastic. It's still mid-month here, so I'm excited about some of the things that we'll probably get into. As a matter of fact, we're going to Disney on Thursday.
Ooh.
And they have Pride nights for June as well. So I'm excited. My kid doesn't know. I can't tell him because he's going to bug me until the day it arrives. So I have not told him.
You're taking it. It's tomorrow, isn't it? Or next Thursday?
So it's next Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At the time of recording this, it is next Thursday.
Got it. Yeah, I would say June is always fun. I am the last day of June, so I like, ending Pride Month with a bang. But our
Okay, so you got your stilettos and your fishnet stockings ready to go?
Oh, yeah, that's me for sure. That's me at Pride every year. No, see, this year I think I'm gonna do something fun and make myself a t-shirt so I can feel very like I belong there. Um I think as a transhuman that kind of shows up in this world as a very hetero cis passing way, sometimes it can feel harder to belong in queer spaces, and so I feel like I have to write it on my forehead, so I don't have to just come out every 5 seconds on why I feel like I belong there, which is probably a me thing rather than an anyone else thing, but lots of layers, but no, Pride this month is actually on Father's Day, so it falls on that weekend, and so I'm excited to just kind of enjoy the whole weekend and
Do
and
both.
have
And
some
you and
fun.
your kid are always out doing something, so this would be so appropriate.
Yeah, I love you know what? I love a tired kid. There's just not much better than, like, picking up a kid from school and going to the playground and exhausting them and then coming home to just like, "Oh, board game? Sure, let's do that." We don't need to we're tired. We just spent some time in the sun. We're tired now. It's great.
Oh my god. Okay, we're getting to the first thing, but I was going to say
Yeah.
I have a teenager now, so it's more like where can you take me? Where what can you buy for me? Can you drive me here? Can we spend money
Yeah.
that I don't want to earn by doing the additional stuff you asked me to earn? So yeah, it's a push and fight and drag and anyway. So Disney's going to be different because that's all sponsored by the parents.
Oh, that
Um
was good.
so yeah, it's all cared for, it's taken care of. Just show up, have fun. And Disney is expensive as hell, but
Disney
Jesus.
is expensive. I would like to go to Disney when I can do the skip the line passes, but I will not go until she's big enough to ride the rides. I just don't see the point.
Yeah, well, there are plus and minuses to all of that. We could talk about that all day. But yes, we have skip the line passes.
Oh,
We're going to California, so we're doing both parks in California, Disney and California Adventure, because
awesome.
I am a Star Wars fan, and that is really why we're going.
That's gonna be fun
Oh, absolutely. Anyway, I digress.
then.
All right, let's get into our first story. In 2023, the internet became obsessed with Baby Gronk, a young, youthful football player whose father, Jake San Miguel, aggressively built his son's brand online. What started as a sports promotion turned into a national conversation about whether a child was being turned into a content machine before he was old enough to understand it. Even Rob Gronkowski publicly pushed back against reportedly, or let me rephrase that. Even Rob Gronkowski publicly pushed back after reportedly being contacted hundreds of times. Additionally, the child was treated like a professional athlete before reaching his high school years. So think about that, before high school years. So,
Yeah,
what, freshman year? You're what, 15? So this is
younger,
way before
14.
then. Critics argued that the father's ambition had become the story, not the kid. So this is, again, are you supporting the kid or are you supporting what you wanted to do by way of your kid? So living vicariously. Sports writers called it the ultimate example of sports dad culture gone too far.
Hmm.
And then the controversy sparked conversation about whether parents are building opportunities or building brands. So I'll leave it there. What do you think? What's your initial impression? Do you know Baby Gronk?
So I didn't know Baby Gronk, but I saw something recently about him, and I didn't really deep dive into it because people were kind of upset that he went onto a college campus and did like some like practice youth trial training, and they felt like, and what I'd seen kind of just in the comments was that he hadn't really earned it. He was just there because of his presence online. Um, However, when I hearing that he has been pushed so hard via social media with his father and whatnot, he didn't look like he was a bad like athlete in any way, shape, or form. Um, but I think like that's man, it's so tough because as someone who grew up not in that stressful of a I want you to succeed environment, but I did watch that with my older brother who was a professional skateboarder by the time he was 10. He was a professional snowboarder by the time he was 14. I mean, the kid he just was, athletically, I think we talked about this, but like athletically gifted and incredibly driven and hardworking. But there was so much pressure on him to be the best that from my from my experience watching that, I have to think about the kid's value in himself and how he sees himself as a asset to his father and not, maybe not as the child of his father, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. And I'm going to go with absolutely not. And the reason I say that is from my exposure to uh, Baby Gronk, which again is kind of a tagline of Gronkowski, right? Which is a great NFL player,
Hmm.
trying to attach themselves to that name. I think there are opportunities, and I've seen both sides. I've seen where you have real athletes that are promoting themselves online based on what they're doing. So it's more like I'm the athlete on the field and I'm just taking pictures of myself and some of the things that I'm doing, I'm putting that online. To me, that's not a brand. That is more of making people aware that I'm a great athlete, because social media is where a lot of these recruiters go to get behind the scenes, better understanding about the athlete that they're interested in. Baby Gronkowski, at the time that I saw some of his stuff years ago, wasn't at the age where he was going to get drafted into any college institution or the NFL or anything of that nature. So it became, to me, fandom type chasing. You know, we started this, people latched onto it. We've got a million followers. Now it's one of those channels where we're just producing things because it's fun, right? And now we're lobbying, trying to get Gronkowski to appear on our show to validate the fact that we're on the right path. Is this kid an athlete? Probably. I don't know. I haven't seen that part of it. And I think that's the point I'm trying to
Oh,
make,
okay. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nothing about what came across my screen about Baby Gronkowski was athletic.
It was all personality and almost like stick. It's like a shtick.
Right. Right. So it wasn't like I am going to be this phenom. Look at all the progress that I've been making over the years in this particular field.
Mhm.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm hoping to reach out because, I want to make connections and get into the NFL one. And maybe that's the general idea. Maybe that's how it started. But when it came across my screen, that's not what I saw. I saw a kid in the middle of a machine
Got it.
that was just producing social media content for engagement, for likes, for views. And I think that's where you fall down short. That's where we've missed the mark. We need to be able to say, as parents in this new space, social media and our kids, is this the right thing to do? Am I chasing the likes? Am I chasing the fact that I wanted to be in the NFL and get this much attention and my kid's getting it? So now I'm going to maximize on that. I'm sure there's some financial rewards tied to it. I'm sure they're getting all sorts of attention, and there might be some money tied to it, which is always a motivator to continue, right? And sometimes people use that as you're doing the right thing because you're making money off of it.
Mhm.
But what is that kid's final product when he gets to high school, if he's not already, and starts to really want to do football like the legit way? Has he already burnt himself by making a brand that was not serious enough?
Well, it's also not a brand really about him as an individual. It's about this idea that he is like the baby version of a famous NFL
A
player.
grown man.
Those are big shoes to follow, and I feel like, it's like maybe they're big shoes to chase, but they're also like really, like how are you gonna fill that when this person has made a name for himself by himself? And so it's like kind of stepping out of that shadow and building his own brand outside of this is gonna be something he's gonna have to do. I mean, on his own,
Yeah, but how do you fix that?
I mean, it's it doesn't, I mean, I don't want to say it's too late, but like we've mentioned him as Baby Gronk a couple of times. I still don't know his name. Like I don't know his name.
Well,
Like,
it's I don't want to sound harsh, but it's like almost at this point, it's like, who cares?
well,
His
and
name
that's
is
the thing.
Baby Gronk.
His name is Baby Gronk. When I saw the thing on social media about him going to a college campus and people being mad about it, they didn't mention his name. It was Baby Gronk. I was like, who is this kid? And no one really knows who this kid is. And I think there's like you said, like parents who live vicariously through pushing their dreams on their child because they didn't succeed in them. Right. And it's like, okay, well, you didn't make it. So you're going to push your kid to succeed to a level that you didn't make it. And I've seen a couple of things recently that are a little bit on the darker side where this really talented phenom of a young MMA like a fighter, she was like unheard of talent, but super young and ended up taking her own life due to the pressure. And there's, like we have to also acknowledge that this is a child or a kid or a young athlete, and those pressures really, they really matter. Like they count, and if you're not taking into consideration the person inside the brand, you might be missing something really important.
So let me play devil's advocate, right? So from the parents' perspective, they may have come from an impoverished start, right? A
Hmm.
humble beginnings. And they ventured into social media and said, "Wow, we struck gold. Now we have an opportunity to live a different life because we've gone down this path."
Hmm.
To me, it's hard to walk back from that. And you have to be smart enough to be able to reinvent the wheel to say, "Okay, maybe this isn't the right direction for my kid, but how do we come full circle and do something different and still maintain this lifestyle?" So I think there is a point of no return when you go down this path that says now we can't turn back, because now we've bought the house that has the $1 million mortgage. We've bought the car that has the $2,000 a month note. Now, how do you walk back from that, right? How do you go back into something that's smaller? People struggle with things like that, which I think it's important as parents to make those intentional decisions up front and not fall into this social media game. I was gonna look up to see how old this kid is now. He's 13 years old now, in
Yeah,
8th grade.
8th grade. So yeah, he was touring a college campus in 8th grade. That's pretty wild. And that I'm sure that opportunity wouldn't come to him if he hadn't been um, a part of the social media platform.
Yeah.
Uh,
So he told this kid told TMZ in 2023 that he is the goal for what Madden would describe as becoming a millionaire by his senior year in high school, with or without football. So that in itself tells you it's not about football.
it's not about the love for the sport.
Because people that play
But
football in high school and have a passion for it and want to get into the NFL, they're like, football is what I drink, it's what I breathe. I'm going to combines, I'm practicing on weekends.
mhm.
Summers is about improving for the next
So it's
year. I
about
mean, it's all football.
yeah.
God forbid you live in Texas, it's all football, right? So if you can say at 13 that with or without football, I'm gonna be a millionaire because I've got this social media on the side, one of them has to win out. You can't do both.
Yeah, I mean, I think people do both. I think people do both, and especially if he's got like a team and this is his goal, he probably make it
Well,
happen.
you can do both because you have a team, right? So
Yeah,
you're actually doing one and your team is doing the other. I think one has to be bigger than the other. If you are a professional athlete, you have a great social media following because you're a professional athlete.
exactly.
Right? But if
Yeah,
your job is to be a social media individual, then as you know now with this podcast, you're spending a lot more time than you were last year doing social media stuff, and it's only going to get bigger and more
I'm.
involved. and
Mhm.
and of course there'll come a point where you're like, "Hey, I need to this is," and you and I have done a very good job with this podcast of saying this is our window of opportunity because we got kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have like a 2 hour window once a week where it both fit our busy schedules. Like so
We're making it work, and then we're this small right now. I mean, God forbid we're this big and we're trying to fill things into 2 hours, and it might be anyway. So my opinion here is how do we learn from this? I think it's important to recognize social media for what it is. It is a very ill-formed circle that we need to pay very close attention to what we as adults get into, because sometimes we slip into some stuff and it's like you shouldn't have been there in the first place. And then bringing our kids into this, they're not going to understand the world without social media.
well, I think the world revolves around social media now. It's so much a part of business and personal brand. People, think of like personal branding is like another. I mean, it's a source of income. So many people survive off of that, and this kid is to sit like the exact same. Like his survival and his future plan is based off of this brand that was
It,
started
it's
before
but
he ever started.
it's his whole family's survival. Like, he's carrying his family at this point.
Well, I think it goes back to conversations we've had before about like child stars. Like I watched an interview Kiki Palmer gave about how like she came from super poverty, and when she started making money, she got her own bedroom, and she wasn't gonna stop. Like, she knew that reason that bedroom existed was because she works super hard, and so it was like, "This is how I'm going to show up for my family, and I'm gonna keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going," and at one point, you have to decide, "Okay, there's this version of me that exists to keep going, and then there's this me that's the other version," right? Like, you almost have to use 2 different lives when it comes to this kinda stuff, um, and I don't think that version of celebrity exists anymore. I think that it's very social media based now.
Okay,
Unless
this
you're
is
like
coming
one
from August. It has this giant
giant is a very, very big word for my following.
which is appropriate because you have some awesome fans that are like, let's
You
show up
have
for August. So which is
Yeah.
good.
Yes, please keep listening, come back. Like they've been and the cool thing is like most of my growth was supernatural and very and came over time. So I'm appreciative to all of the ones that do follow me. But yeah, I do think like it's that it go it's just parents, going hard for dreams that I think kids need to go just as hard for. They have to be the ones to be like, I want this 100%. I saw a really cool take on this. This young girl, I think her dad or her mom was super into soccer, played throughout high school, played throughout college, and she was about 10 and was on the soccer team and looked to her mom. And she's like, you know what? I just don't want to play soccer. She's like, you don't love soccer? She's like, no, I don't love soccer. And the mom's response was like, you know what's really cool about life? That we all have these little things inside of us that bring us joy and happiness and create passion. For your dad, it was soccer. For me, it was gymnastics. And for you, your whole life is about figuring out what that thing is for you, not what it was for me or what it is for your dad. And I want you to find what brings you passion and you joy and makes you want to be the best of whatever that is. And it's like facilitating that.
No, I need you to find what makes us all money and brings us all the wealth that we need. Thank you. That is your job.
Mm. Or
Can you
that. Yeah.
imagine?
I need to find that too, so it's fine. I'm still searching for that ember. Where are you? Hello?
We're all there.
Where is it? Ah, make that money, inner child.
Oh my God. For the rest of it, to talk to your therapist about it. What is the job that brings us all the millions, please? Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes. What is the millions job? What is it? Where?
Disney.com, apply within. Okay. Anyway, all right, let's go to your story.
Okay, so I went kind of gay with this one because here we are. Um,
It's Pride
I
Month.
It's Pride
Hey.
Month, and in Pride Month, we got to talk about the parents who just don't handle people being gay very well. Um, this dad sued his son for conversion therapy costs. So, Gregory Talbert, a conservative Christian from Memphis, Tennessee, caught his 18-year-old son, 17, when this happened, kissing his friend during a sleepover. And in the ensuing couple of weeks afterwards, he sent a text saying, like, you cannot kiss another man, especially in this house. If you want a homosexual lifestyle, you need to move out immediately. It's unacceptable behavior for within my family. And the boy agreed after a while to go to conversion therapy on the basis that if he didn't go, he would lose his mom and his dad. And he's like, I guess I'll go, because I don't really have much of a choice. My dad says, leave because this might be who you are, and I hate this, and so you have to go fix it because God doesn't make you gay, you choose. And so after a month of being in counseling, he decided he had to leave because the program was incredibly abusive. He was referred to as a curse, a monster, unworthy, and needed the program to fix him. And all of these, things that people preach with love. And yeah, so he decided to leave, and the dad freaked out. He was like, "I know you left. I need you to come home." The program has called me multiple times, and you need to start where you finished. But his son decided he was not going back. He was not going back. So the outcome was that the dad sued him in small claims court. And the best thing about this is that the judge dismissed the case and gave him like a really beautiful ending, but was just kind of like, young man, you are not cursed. You are as loved and as worthy, Michael, as your father, your mother, and everyone else who has the privilege to reside on this earth. I don't care what your daddy says. I don't care what some stupid conversion therapy says, which is nothing but a bunch of hoopla and a scam for money grabbing for young, vulnerable men like yourself. I see you and you are valuable and you are perfect. You're perfect in the eyes of God, too. And so that was a beautiful ending. But yeah, to sue your child for $6,000 after sending him to conversion camp and kicking him out of your house.
So that dad is not a parent.
No.
Period. That dad is very unaware. That dad is a horrible person. First of all, as you know, as many in the queer community know, coming out is not an easy thing to do. Even when you are mostly sure that it's going to go the way that you want it to. But for circumstances where it does not, and I think it's trending downwards, probably not fast enough, right? But when you have a teenager or any child that's kind of locked into their environment circumstances and can't go anywhere, you've become a terrorist to that child when you say you need to go somewhere else. Where the hell are they supposed to go? You can't live here. You made this decision. Okay, who in the right mind makes a decision to be terrorized? Who in the right mind makes a decision to be in first? They've made a choice to make you aware of it. That's
Yeah.
the only choice that was made. So, but I do remember this story because I started posting about this on my social media as well when I heard that, when I saw the videos floating around, everyone was praising it, and they should have, based on the reaction from the judge dismissing that case and kind of admonishing the dad and praising the kid. It was such an emotional video, and I'll put it up here for people to watch as well. The judge did the absolute right thing. That if she could have sent it to jail, that would have been the best response. But to sue your child over conversion therapy, hey, you didn't finish this terroristic act that I put on you. Now you need to pay for it.
Yeah.
So basically, you need to sponsor the fact that I sent you to a terrorist camp.
Well, and like, and like in the beginning of the court hearing, he was like, I'm a straight A student. I'm going to be valedictorian. I'm an excellent athlete. My parents have been nothing but proud of me until this one moment. And this one moment is something that every single gay person on the face of the planet knows they cannot change. You pray that gay away. It is not an uncommon thing. I spent years wishing that it was different and on multiple fronts, right? And like, I think it's something that you, as a person who has lived this queer experience, you have to accept it yourself and learn to love it. And when the people in your space tell you you're cursed or wicked or vile, these are things that you already are trying to overcome, because this is something you cannot change. You cannot change this.
And this is where suicide comes into play, right? You have your parents saying one thing, they send you somewhere else. They're all saying something else that magnifies that. You're getting it in the left ear, you get it in the right ear. It makes people feel a certain type of way. You start to believe it. You start to drink the Kool-Aid. And I am glad that there are resources out there, people who are seeking to support, encourage, change the mindset, right? Paradigm shift, if you will. And podcasts out there, queer dads out there that have the intentionality of raising kids that are very intentional in their process to say, show up as you are from day one. So by the
Right.
time you get to 18, you've got something to tell me, cool. It just rolls out like water. We got
Yeah,
it.
totally.
But people like that still exist in this world, in our political sphere, in our personal lives, at work. We have to be very, very, very aware. And oftentimes on guard about what we say, what we share, how many people we let into our close personal spaces, because they don't all feel the way that we do. But to go the extra step and try to sue your child to recover money that you spent on a process that didn't work is ridiculous. I mean, and the last thing I'll say here, which is astonishing to me because I have a kid. So when this happens, it's like it's a little bit more wow. But how can you have loved your kid unconditionally until now?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. Like, where in the world does that just stop for this one thing? Like, it doesn't change. I think that's the thing that's so frustrating. It's like, it's like some people be like, I'm still the same person. So of course you're the same person. Of course you're still the same person. I still think I'm the same person, and I went through a full blown transition, but I'm still the same person. I still struggle with the same stuff that I did before. I still love the same things that I did before. I still dress the same way I did before. I'm not, I didn't just, you know, turn around and have a completely different personality or morals or anything. I just chose to love myself for exactly who I was born to be, And I think that that is like people I don't know who said it, but it was like the only people who believe that being gay is a choice are the ones who are choosing to be straight. It's like
But
if you're thinking that I can control this, it's because you're controlling it on your end. Because there's no
and working very hard at it
and
because
and
now
and
you're in my DMs.
apparently cheating. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it goes to like the fact that like Grinder always fails at Republican conventions. It's like,
Oh man, did you see how they sponsored the last event? I can't remember where or what it was, but they were like, "Let's just get in front of this. We're going to sponsor it. Come to our party." And I
yeah,
think there was a certain number of people that showed up that were queer allies and whatnot, so that was fine. I wouldn't be surprised if others walked in the back door. Anyway, maybe was that a double entendre? Oh no. Um,
a
what
little.
I was gonna what I was gonna say, August, one of the things that you do need to change is your video game skills. So let's work on that. Appreciate it.
Yes, I do. I have to change my video game skills. I'm gonna fit it into my schedule.
30 minutes after every recording, you spend some
30
time
minutes
playing
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 some
some
game.
Gears of Wars and some Halo. Get your skills up. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
All
it.
right, that's a very passionate topic for both of us for a very specific reason. So I did see that. I would hope that he's doing well now, and if he comes across this podcast, we invite him to come on and have some conversations with us. So, audience, find him. We make it seem like we have a million people that can find him throughout the world, but stranger things have happened.
Do it.
Let's go to the next one. In 2023, Target found itself at the center of the national culture war over its Pride merchandise. While much of the debate focused on products, some of the most viral moments involved adults confronting employees, filming inside of stores, arguing publicly about the children and how they should or should not be exposed to queer merchandise and queer themed items in Target. The conversation quickly shifted away from actual LGBTQ plus families and their kids and became a spectacle driven by adult outrage. So obviously this comes from CNN and the Associated Press. And then, of course, videos showed adults recording employees who had no role in merchandising decisions. LGBTQ parents spoke publicly about how their own children were hearing hostile discussions while simply shopping. Several stores reported adjusting displays or removing items after confrontations and safety concerns. So I don't know if you remember Target when they have like special things that they're trying to promote, they put it up front. You walk in and you see it right up
Yeah.
front. It's
No,
like,
yeah.
oh, that's kind of cool.
Target always has a
Um,
really good Pride section.
Right, like exactly. It used to be right up front. You walked into, you
Mhm.
walk past it. Listen. If it's for you, it catches your eye. If it's not, walk past it. Go to your
Yeah,
section.
exactly.
Right. And then during this event, they moved it way in the back, like in a corner. Like you have to go find it. I noticed that at the Target here. And then the last thing I'll say here is many critics argued children were being used as rhetorical props by adults on both sides of the debate. So, what do you think about the whole Target thing? Do you still shop there?
I avoid Target for a couple of reasons. I think that when they agreed to the DI ban, that was kind of it for me. Every once in a while, I'll need something that's specifically there, but I really do my best to just kind of avoid Target. Previously, I really did like their Pride merch. I know that a couple years ago they had worked specifically with POC artists to do their campaigns. I felt like they kind of were always pushing into like unknown artists or people who are a part of the community to be a part of their campaigns. But I don't know what avenue they're going this year, or even if they're a part of. I haven't been, so I don't know what their Pride merch looks like this year. I did see the outrage a couple of years ago when people were so upset by clothing. I'm like, don't wear it. Don't wear it. Don't wear it. And then you've got these people, and like, I do think it's so hypocritical because it's like you've got these people who are so offended that a kid is wearing a shirt with a rainbow on it or saying love is love or whatever, and then you've got MAGA on there, your 4-year-old's t-shirt. It's this, I mean, I don't really see the difference there. It's a belief system. I mean, for us it's not, because it's a life. I mean, it's not. It's celebrating love and unity and celebration of acceptance and inclusivity. I mean, exactly. Like it's really about spreading happiness and joy. Where on the other side, I feel like it's about the opposite. It's like, dictating what is okay, what is godly, what is going to make this world good again when it's honestly it was getting better, right? We're just trying to get better and more peaceful, maybe, if that's in a human experience that we can one day achieve. But yeah, I'm pretty disappointed with Target's response to kind of everything that's gone down. And with that Pride campaign, I think that the following year, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, they totally rescinded and barely put stuff out the following year after it, because of the backlash.
So Target is still on my shit list
Yeah,
for a litany of reasons, all of which you've just mentioned. So Pride was one thing, right? And the backlash around Pride, I don't understand, because when we're talking about clothes, um, we all shop based on our tastes,
yeah,
right? We choose that shirt because we think it looks good. The shirt next to it is the same color but a different designer. We don't want that one because we don't like the way the buttons. And so we make choices about what we want to wear based on the texture and the color, the fit. Try your clothes on, guys. Um, so Pride is no different.
hmm
If you don't like that shirt because it says I'm queer on it in Sanskrit or whatever, then don't buy it. Like, walk past it and get the jacket that has the whatever you're looking for. That's why you came to Target to buy clothes. Look at all the clothes, pick the one you want, go to checkout and leave. Why do you have to make a mess? Why do you have to now exclude people, right? Oh, the kid is going to walk past this. Does your kid not have the ability to walk past something and not know that it's there? The only reason your kid knows that Pride is in Target is because you stopped, Karen, at the manager station and made a big thing about that section that's out front that now your kid is more aware of than they were before.
yeah.
It's like
When
you
kid is
brought it
old
into
enough,
focus. You brought it into focus. You brought it into the conversation. All you had to do was walk into the store and keep walking. Go to the back. Go to the electronics section. Go to the women's section. Whatever. They wouldn't have known. It's kind of like walking past a Starbucks. You're not here to drink coffee. You hardly notice the Starbucks is in Target.
yeah. When it's like, okay, there's a bathroom in Target. Do you point out the bathroom every time, or do you only point it out when you got to use it? And at the end of the day, if a child is old enough to know what that means, then they're exposed to it already. They're on the internet. They understand. And it's like you don't need you can't erase it. It's not going to disappear because you don't like it. You can refuse to buy it for your kid if that's your choice, but to make it like, I'm not going to enjoy this and I don't want to see this, so no one else gets to celebrate themselves, is showing your child, I mean, the worst example. You're being such a bad example of a parent, because now, what if your kid is gay? Now they're terrified.
Exactly.
Now they're terrified, and you've set that example for that, and I, it's it
Well,
just
here's my thing too. My issue with Target is they bow to public pressure instead
yeah.
of standing on principles. Like, where is your principle about, hey, LGBTQ culture is part of the people that work for us,
Mhm.
right? Whether at corporate or in these retail stores. So we want to make sure that they feel included in the culture that we have, because guess what? Pride Month is but 1 month. Are you are you telling me that your sales are impacted to such a degree because Pride merchandise is available during June that you have to remove it and excise it from your merchandise in order to maintain profitability? Target, that has 10,000 stores in every city across the United States, is impacted by Pride Month
The
in a
gays love
negative way.
Target.
If anything, June gives you the inflection that I would have to look up. I'm going to see if I can find it. June gives you a positive inflection on your P&L because you're carrying Pride merchandise.
Uh-huh.
The power of the purse, if you will, if you allow me to use that visual, is powerful in the gay community. The way that we show up and represent, I mean, the disposable income that the queer community has been well established in economics. So it's like, well, I don't want you to pander to us. No, but I do want you to make sure that you stand on principle. You brought it out, keep it. Same
Yeah.
thing with,
Yeah.
the Black community. We used to see that represented in Target all the time. There is this small niche type of business that's trying to sell something. They reach out to Target. Target's like, yeah, let's partner. So we put up a little thing about you in the Target store, just like they do for the Martha Stewarts of the world, the
Yeah.
Nate Burgesses of the world. They'll put it right next to them to say, let's give this person I don't see that anymore either. So it's like,
No,
what are we
they've
doing?
totally dialed back, and it's so frustrating. And other companies like Costco, who didn't fold to the DI and actually pays their employees a minimum wage, it's such a huge brand. They didn't go under because they decided that they weren't going to listen to a bigoted administration. They didn't go under. They didn't lose a ton of money. Like, it didn't happen. And Target wouldn't have lost any money. Honestly, they lost billions after not doing it in the first 3 months.
Worth losing 0.5%, whatever that happens to be, to stand on
Well,
principle.
they lost it for not standing on principle. They lost tons of
I agree.
consumers, and they should have, because you know what? You suck. You suck.
This is the Chick-fil-A of the world.
Yeah, I have never eaten at Chick-fil-A.
We used to, before we learned that, I think it was during Prop 8 way back in the day, that they started lobbying against our ability to be married in the state of California. And since then, Chick-fil-A has been out the window. So, I mean, it's been what, 15 years at this point? No thanks.
Mhm.
I
No,
mean,
no.
I when I did eat there, I was like, the chicken sandwich was great. I would love to be able to eat Chick-fil-A, but I will not do, you know what? Principle. Can't do it.
Principle.
Now, I don't impose that on others, just like I don't for Target as well. You want to go to Target? Go shop at Target. I'm not telling you not to. I'm telling you how I feel and why I feel the way that I do. But if you shop at Target, I'm not gonna lambaste you about it. Go do you. I'm gonna go do me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, every once in a while when we're in a pinch, um, but very, very infrequently. From like, it used to be like the place I went for toilet paper and paper towels, and like, it was just like a one-stop shop. And now I go to Walmart, and that's fine, and it works.
Yeah, we'll find alternatives. So for those of you listening, do you still shop at Target? Do
We
you
want to.
eat at Chick-fil-A? What are your retailers that you're like, can't do it because of how they view whatever it is in this world? I'd be interested. It doesn't necessarily have to be queer issues. I'm interested in knowing what other retailers are doing that's causing some challenges. DEI is a big one. If they don't support DEI, they don't support me, because DEI is basically part of my forehead in so many different ways. So,
Yeah,
meh.
sure. Like,
Anyway, let's move on to the next one.
all right. So this is differences of opinion, and I'm curious about your uh your response here because it's
It'll be the one I have no opinion.
I doubt it. So, a Kansas school counselor who banned Trump and Charlie Kirk as heroes. In October 2025, a guidance counselor at a Marshall Elementary School in Eureka, Kansas, gave sixth graders an assignment to name their role models on the board. But when a student said that the role model was Charlie Kirk, a conservative activist who was assassinated in 2025 during a talk at Utah Valley University, the teacher reportedly became very uncomfortable, yelled out that Charlie Kirk was not a hero, and ordered the name erased. Another student tried to put Donald Trump on the list, and then the teacher then reiterated um, that the students could not write political or religious figures on the board at all.
So I think the teacher is wrong. That's my initial,
Mhm.
because she did not give the proper instructions. So had she started saying, "Give me your heroes, they cannot be political or religious figures," that's the way to do it,
Yeah.
right? Because that's a very generalized way of approaching the request. But because of the way that she did it, what she's doing is saying your opinion, your values, whatever you subscribe to, right, wrong, or indifferent, has no bearing, has no meaning in this classroom, and I'm going to shame you for it. Right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like a black kid going to the board and going Martin Luther King. No, Martin Luther King is not a hero. He's not. It's like, okay, not to you, but to that individual, it is. Now, I don't subscribe to Donald Trump or Charlie Kirk being heroes. I agree. They
Okay.
are very horrible individuals,
Agreed.
tenfold, right? But these are kids. I don't know how old these kids are.
Sixth
Um,
grade, I'm gonna go 11, 12.
11, 12, 13. So they're vibing a lot off of their parents. Half the time they don't
Mhm.
really understand, the genesis. A lot of adults don't understand why Charlie Kirk is being viewed as such a hateful person. Because they haven't dug into it, right? They only see surface level MAGA stuff that Fox News puts out on a regular basis. So, as a teacher, you have to be able to explain things. Not that she needs to go in and say, "Let me tell you about Charlie Kirk. Let me tell you why Donald Trump is not the guy." Do not do that. That's not your role.
No.
However, your role is to explain the rules properly. I'm sorry. Let me take a step back. I didn't explain the rules properly. Let's start over. We're going to make sure we don't count political figures and religious individuals in this exercise. Great. Now
Yeah.
everybody is under the same rules.
Yeah,
That is
because
the right way to.
you could have gone at it in like a completely different way, where it was like name somebody who's a hero in your life. Like change the verbiage. But I completely agree. I think that the teacher instead went about this without thinking that people were going to name those two people, which is like that's their children. If that's who they view as a hero in sixth grade, that's who they view as a hero. And to tell them that they're wrong isn't going to change their opinion of their hero. It's going to change their opinion of you and the school system, being like, I'm not allowed to think and believe in this person.
Well,
And
all you're going to do is bring the dragon parent to the school, and
yeah,
rightfully so, because you've admonished their kid in front of their peers about something that parent probably sincerely believes. Charlie Kirk is my hero. My kid thinks Charlie Kirk is my hero.
yeah,
Therefore, he brought it up. There is nothing wrong with that. You are entitled to be stupid. There's
yeah,
nothing illegal.
no, nope, get to be dumb. And there's a lot of dumb out there, but the teacher, it's not her job to you can educate, but choose the timing. It's like if you want to be like, okay, like if Charlie Kirk is your hero, I want to know why. If Donald Trump is your hero, if Martin Luther King is your hero, I mean, not to put those three people in the same category at all. However, we were talking
Well,
about
you're showing the juxtaposition. I get it.
yeah, but it's like Or if the I don't know, dude. There's this one kid. His hero was the guy who drives the dump truck, and it was his hero, and he loved him. And the guy was so nice that one day he came with a tiny dump truck for this kid, and that kid may or may not remember that, but the parents will remember
I
that
saw that video. That was the cutest
it
thing.
it was the cutest thing, and, like, a tiny little dumpster, and the kid got to experience, and, like, that is, in that moment, a hero in that kid's life, and you're not you what are you gonna say that that doesn't count either because you don't respect the profession? Or just only certain people qualify as heroes? Like, can we like, that doesn't I think that a lot of people who had difference of opinions of what they find acceptable in terms of you and me. If they, this, we do super well and we end up on that list. Nope, that's a LGBT people can't be on that list. Sorry, doesn't count. They're not living a right life. Like you can't set morals that limit people's belief systems in a thing that's really not about you. It's about them.
Well, you can't do that. I agree, but you can't do that in a classroom because a classroom is an amalgamation, if you will, of everything that this world has to provide. And
Mhm.
you can't approach it with your morals because your morals are yours. You were raised
Yeah.
a certain type of way to believe things, and as an adult, you subscribe to them or not subscribe to them. These are kids. They're not your kids. They
Nope.
are your students. So you have to be able to say, okay, I heard what you had to say. Interesting. Moving on. They've completed the assignment.
Yeah. They went up, they wrote those names down, and, like, they shouldn't have been called out or ostracized or shamed, even if you don't agree.
Now I do think like in high school it warrants a debate, right? I think
Yeah.
it's a very cautious line to walk. I do think those are charged individuals to have that type of debate in school because they tend to do all sorts of wonky and crazy things in those conversations. Kids, teenagers tend to be very passionate, but I think it always, hey, let's have a 5-minute debate. Why do you think Charlie Kirk is your hero? Thank you. Okay. Anyone disagree in a very nice way? Anyone disagree? Great. That's the argument. It's an opportunity to teach that we can debate, disagree, and still leave this room and be okay. Now, I always caution that because when you have those type of conversations about people who are racists, it has a tendency to change relationships,
Yeah.
right? I don't associate with people who are racists. So if you step out of your box and you let me know that that's who you are, thank you.
Yeah. I recently had, uh, a person in my life who showed me that that is their underlying belief system without outright saying it, and framing it in a way where it was like, "No, you just don't understand." And I was like, "No, I do understand. I just think that you don't want to admit where you stand and your underlying bias." And it completely changed my opinion of this person. And it's like you can't ever get it back. You have changed it. It is done. The opinion is completely changed. And it actually didn't happen just with one person, but another person. Um, and the other person, it was actually surrounding my kid, and I was just mind blown. But I was like, you literally, like, you can't go back from that comment. You made it. It's done, and it's not really a conversation. Like I obviously was like, no, actually, absolutely not. But that I'm not going. There's just a very strong line you have to draw in that situation, and like you said, in high school and even in our conversations, they're conversations. They're moments for both sides to communicate, learn, grow mentally, hopefully, if you're in an open mind. But in this situation, there was no open mind from the teachers. They were just shut down. And I would say they're almost too young because, again, agreeing with what you said, they're living through their parents' perception of the world at 10. They're not quite there yet to have formed their own opinions that make sense. And even as teenagers, they grow into themselves. They're still figuring it out. They're still learning what their own opinion is. They're still learning what their moral compass is outside the house. They're still finding their own voice. To expect a kid who's growing up in Kansas, which I'm assuming is a very Republican space, to have a difference of opinion and then to be confident enough in their own voice to be like, I actually completely disagree with my parents at 10 is expecting a lot of a
That's
sixth grader.
insane.
Yeah,
Insane.
it's next to impossible at that point.
Kansas is very blue state, by the way.
Oh, okay. I stand
No,
corrected.
I was just kidding.
Oh, okay. I was like, really? Wow. All right. Well, sounds great.
No. No, not at all.
No.
All right, let's transition into our phenomenal fuck around and find out.
All right. So my fuck around and find out is one of this guy I follow on Instagram. He is a teacher and he's setting a really amazing example. His Instagram is Mr. Sherhood,
Oh, he sounds
Shearh.
like a principal.
He is not. He is this kind of badass MGK looking tatted teacher who is just a super big ally for the queer community. He has a 7-year-old son who he shares custody, and his son's favorite color is pink, and he's just always pushing. And I think recently one of his videos went viral because he went into class and he made a presentation on what is gay, and he kind of went through on his students and like, is this gay? Is this gay? Is this gay? Because I think that, especially at that age, that
Oh, I
six,
know who you're talking about.
so fun to follow. He's just like a super, I just like,
He's
he
got like
doesn't,
the blonde hair, right? Like
yeah, and it's really
yeah,
big and
yeah.
kind of chaotic, and yeah, and he's just
I
like,
love his stuff.
yeah, I love his stuff, and every time it shows up, I follow, I like and I comment on it because he's pushing, i- normalizing from a straight guy's perspective, where he's just like, this isn't gay, this is cool. Music theater is not gay, it's cool. Nail polish isn't gay, it's cool. And then he's like, is nail polish gay? And they're like, no. And then he shows a superstar with nail polish on who's straight, or a lady who's got polish on who's straight, and he's just pushing kids to see things without, I don't know. It's just a fun way to like see somebody showing up for our community from the outside
In such a fun way. Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
such a fun way.
And
Yeah. And
and
so
I
he,
don't know. I've often seen some of these videos and I'm like, are those students like really there? Because he never shows the students, which
yeah, I
I
don't,
think is
yeah,
phenomenal because you get into so much trouble if you do that. But
yeah,
I still love his content because it draws you in. He's so energized and his kid is so cute. But it's
yeah.
so energized. It's like this it's almost like I think people take that. I never read the comments on his stuff. I probably will tonight when I go up. But I think people will say he's pushing the gay agenda. And it's like, is it really the gay agenda or is it really just an opportunity to say, think more broadly?
I don't think that he's pushing the gay agenda. I think that he's just like, don't be a bully, be kind. Just because somebody likes, the nail polish one, he actually put an anime character on it, and it's like that reaches that to switch it and frame it that way opens the mind of so many little nerds that it's like the best thing ever, like I love anime. I mean that with like so much love. It's like he's just, I don't know, he's just pushing it in a different way that I've never really seen it taught before, where he's like, this stuff is cool. Everything is, I'm cool and I'm telling you this is cool, and he is cool. Like his entire energy is cool. I just think that he stands for something that most men could learn from.
Well, congratulations. As we know, our fuck around and find out segment is really about highlighting those individuals, parents or not, who are doing things the right way. So I think
Mhm.
every certified bad example has a second chance at life, right? So we
Totally.
always want to make sure that we're learning from our bad examples and being able to think it through in a critical way sometimes, be very opinionated, get it all out. But we're all learning from these moments to say, maybe you shouldn't have done it that way, or maybe this is the way you should do it next time. So
Just think
comment, Go check out his profile as well. He's got millions of subscribers, I have to think, but
I
still,
think he's
be
got
that
quite a few.
million 909, be the +1 is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Go check it out. Learn something. Come here. Learn something. Tell us what you think. Give us your bad examples. We want to know.
Awesome. All right, August, we are out.
We are out, guys. Subscribe, like, say hello. We want to hear from you too. Thanks.
Bye, guys.